Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the Congression.
Yay.
Thank you
Second?
for. Yeah. Oh,
This is our third, man. Yo.
all right. Hold
He's
on.
losing his mind. No. This is it. This is it. We're starting it like this, bro.
This is the third episode of the Congression. So.
Hello. How y'all been? Good? That's good.
So. On today's topic, I wanted to go over: would you ever date somebody with an Onlyfans?
Hell no.
Well, why?
It's not something I like.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to badger you, but like, why? I just want to know, like, why? Like, what really, like, gets your gears turning about this sort of thing?
I mean, I didn't say it would get me triggered. I just wouldn't like my partner to do that. I don't. How do I put it? Privacy is pretty important for me. So
Yeah. I mean, I like to consider that I live a very private life, where it counts. Like, I don't like to post a lot of things, and I feel like, well, here's the deal. I tried with somebody that had OnlyFans. And, like, I know people that have dated girls that wanted to get one, and then they were like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's all good. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you're just bringing in the money and all that sort of stuff. And if you were to ask me about, I don't know, a year ago, I would have said, no, I wouldn't mind. Like, I would be more than happy to, well, not more than happy, but I wouldn't mind dating somebody that has an OnlyFans, because then, I mean, as long as they're just with you, it's all good and all that sort of stuff. But it never ends that way. It never does. My friend that ended up in a relationship with a girl that got an OnlyFans he ended up getting, not even broken up with, but he ended up just getting forgotten. It was just like, over time, she started collaborating with other guys, and he was still like minorly okay with it, but not exactly okay with it. And then whenever he brought it up, she was like, "Oh my God, you don't really want to be with me, blah blah blah. Like, you don't want to stick it through with me." And then he just had to shut up. And then after a while, like, she wouldn't be back at their place for like a week, and then it would be like a few weeks, and then eventually she just sort of forgot him.
never came back.
Just never came back, just forgot. I mean, it's one thing to get broken up with. It's another thing to just get forgotten. And they were in a relationship for a good 2 to 3 years. I went on a date with somebody that had an OnlyFans, and I came under the realization that they share a lot of their life. And it was literally our first and only date, for a reason. It was our first and only date, and we were just kissing, and all of a sudden, we're just doing our thing, and all of a sudden, I see a flash. That motherfucker took a fucking picture of me, or took a video of us kissing. Like, if there's one thing that I don't like putting on social media, it's that. It's me kissing somebody. It's me doing that sort of thing. It would be different if I was like in a relationship with someone. I would absolutely love to share that, but not on our first date. It wasn't even a date. All we did was drink at their place. And I mean, I'd like to keep it nameless because I don't mean to harm them in any sort of way. I feel like, due to the fact that I'm a very private person, I'd like to keep their lifestyle as private as possible as well. But I just feel like it just needed to be said. I feel like there needed to be a conclusion, like, brought up in a sort of sense. Because there are men out there that are like, oh, I don't care if she has an OnlyFans or not, and this is us telling you, no, you should definitely not date a girl that has an OnlyFans ever, because you're not the important thing in the relationship. And I mean, you shouldn't be the most important thing in a relationship. You should be one of the important things, but you shouldn't be the most. However, that's just one more thing that they care about more than you, which is their OnlyFans and getting collaborations with people. And the person that I was talking to that had an OnlyFans told me specifically that they used to get like STIs back to back to back, and they would just constantly get infected because of their line of work. And it's like, can you keep up with that? I mean, if you're creating content like that, you're bound to, well, have that issue. Like if you're a mechanic, you're bound to bust your knuckle. If you like if you're a mechanic, you're bound to bust a knuckle. And if you are in sex work, you're bound to get an STD or an STI. And I just felt like it was unsafe for me because I'm a person that doesn't necessarily want to do that sort of thing. I don't like getting infected in that general place. And it just hurts. It hurts. And I mean, sure, you may be asymptomatic, but that also means if you've ever gotten an STI before, if you have chlamydia, you have to take off 7 days from any sexual activity. 7 days, and you have to take these pills, and you have to make sure you don't eat dairy. You have to make sure you don't take any other supplements either, and you just got to make sure that your body is in perfect condition so you can kill the infection. Meanwhile, I feel like I can't do that consistently if my partner is constantly doing that. And I feel like even if I wasn't infected, I would still have to get tested more regularly than I usually do. And I feel like we wouldn't have time to really do the nasty and do what we want to do when they're spending time trying to treat themselves for the STI that they're getting, and then all of a sudden they go back into another collab possibly before we do our thing, and then they get infected again, and we can't do anything anymore. And I don't think sex is the most important part of a relationship, but I feel like it definitely helps. It definitely helps the relationship flow. Because I mean, you want to feel affectionate with a person that you love, or at least in my mind, I feel like you want to be affectionate in any sort of way possible. So that's what I think about it. My idea a year ago would have been different, but as of now, I just feel like that's my opinion.
Yeah, for me, that moment where, a couple does their thing, I feel like that's the most intimate thing in the relationship. So I like to keep that intimate. I mean, people could say hey, well, with you it could be intimate, but they can still do this. No, it can't. It don't hit the same, So that's just something I think is pretty important to just keep it private.
I feel like a lot of men can agree. I feel like a lot of men can agree that it's not necessarily the sex that they like, it's the intimacy behind it. Or at least that's what I like to think. And if you're going to a car salesman that is trying to sell the same car to 5 other people, how valuable do you think you are as a customer?
Exactly.
Because I mean, the car salesman can just act like they don't want you whenever you don't want to go with their sale price. I
don't think they'd even treat you differently. probably treat you like what's it called, a collaborator. It's like, yeah,
Possibly.
we're in a relationship, but it's like you're not really getting treated any differently.
No, it would be different if I had one and then my partner did, but I don't, and I refuse to dive into sex work.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to do it because it's always going to be there, especially on the internet. And I feel like since I am a very family-oriented person, I want to have a family with someone. I don't want my kids to figure out that I was doing that sort of thing. I don't want my kids to know that I was like sucking dick for money or something. So
I was gonna say something like that, bro, but I was trying to
like
trying to keep it serious.
Like what? Like what do you think your kid's gonna
Grandson
think?
gonna see your dick in the internet.
What do you think your kid's gonna think when they find that out? And how badly bullied do you think your kid's gonna be whenever the bully finds out that you had an OnlyFans?
It's like, pop, what does this look like you when you were younger? It's like, oh, sweetie.
Yeah, and it'll be like your username too, and like your fake like porn star name as well. So I mean, I just feel like it's just sort of, I feel like it's just a bad idea for me. And not only that, you're also tending.
Ooh, I just thought of a cool porn star name for you.
Chlamydia with the K.
You already had one loaded. You made me forget mine. It was like,
Whoa.
Oh, it was Packin' Pete.
Packin' Pete.
It's your boy Packin' Pete.
Oh my god. It's like, it's your boy Skinny Penis.
It's funny because it's Packin' Pete. He packing.
Packin' Pete.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I mean, considering that I'm a person that doesn't like it whenever I see like a person that I'm attractive to having sex with other people,
Uh-huh.
I just wouldn't be able to do that. And
Also,
people,
I also think, like, imagine like you see one of their videos, right?
mm-hmm.
And then you see them, like, you know, they might be pretending, but they're like, oh yeah, I like it, or something like that. And then it's like you do it with them. It's like she says the same. They say the same thing. It's like, damn, is I'm getting the same shit as the collaborator.
Yeah, exactly.
My money's getting used too.
I mean, it doesn't matter how many times they're gonna tell you like, oh well,
Stupid.
it feels different with you. It doesn't matter how much they say it. What matters is the fact that you understand it, and I don't think I'd ever be able to understand that.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. Because it's like,
That's a lesson here today, folks.
I mean, a lot of people talk about like people that are in their profession don't really like to do their profession out of work as well.
Yeah.
And I just have the feeling that, and a lot of people are like, oh well, the chef still has to eat whenever he goes home. But the thing is, the chef has to eat to survive.
Mm-hmm.
An OnlyFans girl doesn't have to have sex to survive because they get it so much. But in my personal opinion, I just think it's a bad idea. It's a very bad idea.
Stupid.
Yeah. Ugh. So Toyota released a new hybrid. It's a mid-engine sports car.
What?
Yeah. They released a mid-engine sports car, which they partnered up with Suzuki with.
What is it? What is it, Peter?
I have a feeling that they're gonna bring back the MR2.
What?
Yeah, they're gonna bring back. It looks like they're gonna bring back the Toyota MR2.
Bruh.
And I mean, I feel like a lot of these companies are sort of coming back on the market with the things that we want, but also putting them on hybrids.
The new shit.
Like Mazda just released their new rotary engine. It's a single rotor, but it's a rotary nonetheless. I feel like they're gonna sell more parts They're going to sell more rotors than they will cars.
Bruh.
They're probably just going to sell more rotors than they are cars just for people to build 4 rotors and stick them inside their RX-7s.
See, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like Mazda releasing the new rotary engine as a hybrid is them trying to prep their technicians for being able to work on them. Or at least that's what I feel like. They want their technicians to be able to work on them, so they're going to try to like prep them for it on a smaller platform where it's maybe not as necessary. So whenever they do release another rotary, maybe it'll be like an RX-9 or something.
Mm-hmm.
When they do release that, their technicians will already know how to work on it. You know?
Yeah. They're just easing it in.
Yeah, they're just using lube. But so I went to a gun range recently, and I brought 2 people with me who were openly gay, and they dressed like it. And I realized, I didn't realize it at first, but after a little bit, I realized that after like the first 5 minutes of shooting, the range safety officer was just standing right in front of, like, not in front of, but like standing right behind my stall.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter if I was shooting or not. I mean, I like to consider myself a fairly experienced marksman.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's what I like to think I am. I mean, I was hitting center mass every time, and it was like a tiny little pinhole, like through the in the target exactly where I wanted it to be, and she was still standing there because of them.
She?
Yeah, the range safety officer was a woman.
Wow.
But I feel like whenever I walked when I walked in there, I felt like everybody in the range looked at me like I brought the devil into church.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like we care so much about wanting to have new gun owners in gun society, and we want to like accommodate all gun owners because we should all be on the same side, because there's a lot of lawmakers out there that want to take away that right for us. But as soon as we bring in people that aren't just like us, you know, like typically conservative and loves Donald Trump, etc., etc. As soon as we bring in something that isn't what they want, they go all up in arms and assume that we're trying to change things. But I also feel like, in a certain extent, a lot of older people feel like they're too pressured by society to, like, they feel so pressured by society that they feel like they have to tiptoe around us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the whole point isn't to put the gun range on blast. In fact, I'm not going to disclose the location. I'm not going to disclose the business name or anything. However, I feel like...
Call them out. I'm just kidding.
I just feel like a lot of like the older generation feels like they have to tiptoe through the things that we're trying to make into societal norms, so to say. But I mean, I'm purely here to say that you don't really have to tiptoe, because the lady that was working with us at the range, when I went to get more ammo, she went up to me and asked, "Hey, what's their pronouns?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "What's their pronouns?" And I was like, "What did they tell you? Did you ask?" She's like, "Yeah, they said it. They don't care. And I don't want to call them an it because they're a person." I was like, I think you're overthinking it a little. Like, you could call them a he, you could call them a her, you could call them a them, like, you could call them whatever. And I've gotten very used to addressing people by a very gender neutral pronoun, by using they or them or something like that, because I want to see people as people, not as their gender. And I like to be respectful of their preferences generally. So I just feel like we have to sort of not chill out, but we have to not be so scared. Because the thing is, there's only a tiny amount of people that have enough influence to cancel you for saying the wrong pronoun by accident. There's only such a tiny little minority there that's actually going to have the power to cancel you for it. However, you trying to tiptoe and you trying to not necessarily relate. Well, I am saying like try to relate in a sense where it works, kind of hurts us in the end. All you got to really do is act like a regular person. That's the point here. We're not asking you for anything difficult. We're just asking you to treat us like a person, like people. So if somebody gets misgendered, I generally think that they should be okay with it at first if they don't lead with it. However, if you correct them and tell them, actually I go by, let's just say, she, if I go by a she, then I would be like, excuse me, I go by her, like she, her. I feel like that should be the case instead of immediately getting offended by the pronoun. I feel like pronouns are just overthought. I feel like they're overshadowed here. And I just feel like people are very uneasy by it in both senses, you know? I mean, I will play into whatever you believe yourself to be because I support everybody. If you definitively believe that you are a female and you want to be called by female pronouns, I will call you by female pronouns just for the sake of being good to you, just for the sake of treating you like a person. I'm not going to do it because you demand it. I'm going to do it because it makes you feel like a person, and I like to allow myself to help you feel like a person. But I feel like people are tiptoeing too much and feeling like they're going to get offended too much. Like other people are going to get offended too much by them misgendering them. When in reality, most people don't even care. Like that's generally what it is. Like most people don't give a fuck. So
maybe it's what they see. Maybe they were shown that. That's why they think that.
I feel like they have a reason to be scared because of the loud minority. I feel like they have a reason to, but this is why I'm here talking about it, because I'm here to tell them that they shouldn't care as much and they should honestly just take it as it is, and if they get corrected for it, then you apologize for it. You apologize. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I wish I would have known earlier. I will be addressing you by your pronouns. I mean, that's just in a business setting at the very least. Now, if you're a person that's like, oh, well, I don't believe in that stuff, so I'm going to call you by the gender that I think you are, then that's going to cause a lot of issues. Like, what happens if one of those people see a from birth female who just happens to act manly and sort of looks like a man, and then he just assumes that they're trans and he's just going to go and get in one of those to hurt the libs, to hurt the libs, like, oh, you libs are ruining everything, I'm gonna call you a he, when in reality it's a fully realized woman. It's like she was a woman from birth, she just looks more like a man. Maybe she has like a square jawline, or maybe she has more muscle mass or something, and then you're just like, oh no, well you're a he because you look like a dude. Like what happens when you get into that awkward situation? They always talk about how, oh, well, it's a man in a skirt. Well, what if it's a girl in a skirt that looks like a man?
Bruh.
Like what if it could go the other way too? Like there's always going to be an equal and opposite reaction to your claim. That's just always how it is.
I feel like they use that excuse because they're. I mean, they didn't have that many. They probably didn't have that many people that look like that. Where like it's the opposite gender. So I feel like to them that could be a valuable excuse when maybe they haven't seen someone like in their lives seen someone that actually is a girl but looks just more like masculine. Maybe they haven't encountered that. So that might be why they're using the excuse. I can't speak for them because I don't know, but I just thought of that.
Well, I mean, I just feel like being nice to people and being accepting of people is the least you should do for them in any situation. I feel like it's the least you should do. If you just want to be a dickhead just for the sake of being a dickhead or just to prove a point that you know better, I feel like it does nothing. All it does is just creates resentment. And I feel like it pulls us apart whenever we just don't play the game properly. And a lot of people are like, oh, by the end of the day, like, you're still like, just because you believe that you're this doesn't mean that I have to believe you, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I understand where you're coming from, but in the end of the day, if your daughter's like, oh, I'm a unicorn, are you gonna be like, no, you're not a unicorn, Santa doesn't exist, blah blah blah? Like like you might as well just do that. I mean, it makes better sense to just, I mean, wouldn't it just be easier if you just humor them? And if you really think they sound ridiculous, can't you just play into it? I mean, I feel like playing into it would be funnier as a way to get back at someone. Like, for example, if I said Nueva New York while I was trying to speak Spanish, I feel like it would be funnier if you just kept on coming up with that name. And you'd be like, oh, are we going to Nueva New York next week?
Or Nueva New Hampshire.
Yeah. Or like, are we going to Nueva Jersey?
Nueva New Jersey.
Nueva New Jersey.
Bro, you corrected yourself. Yeah. You actually said it right.
Yeah, I said it right. Yeah.
You said,
like, are we going to Nueva New Jersey?
What if you go to Nueva Jersey? Huh?
I was like, wait.
Said it wrong.
Wait, you said it right.
That's hilarious.
But it's like, you're doing nothing by being mean. At least that's what I feel like. You're doing nothing by being mean.
Let me get the Brita real quick. Damn.
I filled it up last night.
Alright.
Nueva New Jersey. But I mean,
Nueva New Mexico.
If you really think it's that bad of an issue, why are you just going to be such a cunt about it?
Yeah.
I mean,
they obviously come off like that, but I think in their minds they think they're right.
Yeah, and I mean that's the whole issue, is we keep on thinking that we're right, and then we cause bigger issues. At least that's what I like to.
There's nothing wrong with thinking you're right. What's wrong is not accepting hearing the other side.
Yeah. I feel like both sides know that they're right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And they firmly believe it.
Yeah, and they firmly believe it so much to the point
right.
where there's no way of changing their minds.
Still right.
It's still right in their own eyes. I mean, I believe in Judges, in the book of Judges. At the end of the book, it says, "And everybody did what was good in their own eyes."
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of killing in that book. There was a lot of killing in that book, and it was just like everybody was doing what was right for their God in their own eyes. Like, everybody thought that they were pleasing God by killing people. You know? But it's not like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, putting this out there definitely helps.
Yeah.
Ease some ears. So, cheers to that, I guess. I got plain old water. I finished it before you. You barely took like one sip, and
I was just trying to sip it because we got another episode.
I'm going for round 2, my guy.
I mean, don't worry. I'll be done with it soon. In fact, what time are we at right now?
I'm not sure. Let me check.
Get out the way, Mike.
13 minutes. 13.
I mean, we're trying to go
43
one
minutes.
hour
I'm
each.
sorry.
1 hour each.
Yeah, 1 hour each. Pretty big points there, Peter. Peck and Pete.
Holy fuck.
I'm putting that out there on the internet. It's Peck and Pete from now on. Everybody call him Peck and Pete. This fucking mic, bro, it keeps moving on its own. Look at it.
Yeah, it's just too springy.
It's too springy. It's new, so it's a little too springy. So stupid.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something, right? Have y'all ever like been working at some place for a long time, and then you get to know all the people there, all the coworkers, and then you get the option to go as a supervisor for that same department.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of take it, you know. It's like, hey, pays more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of just start getting trained for it, and then you finally, you know, your big day. You have to lead your ex coworkers, now employees. What do you think one would feel from the coworkers' perspective?
Well, I've had this happen to me a few times. In fact, it happened to me in a way where I also became management. I feel like if your coworkers are your friends, they would respect your position and respect what you have to do and understand that there's a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if your coworkers are like generally resentful or disrespectful in any sort of way, you have to find a way to squash it out in a sort of way that would work for both of y'all. And that doesn't mean you need to treat them nicer. That doesn't mean that you have to treat them worse. That just means that you have to find a way that works. 'Cause I mean, maybe a way that works is to treat them nicer, but they also need to understand that there's a level of authority that can't be compromised on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I got into a management position at one of my jobs where I had to pretty much leave my friends behind in a sort of way. But the thing is, we still drink on the weekends together. We still talk regularly like normal people outside of work. However, when showtime comes to showtime, I have to be the one that has to enforce things. I have to enforce rules. I have to enforce regulations.
Mm-hmm.
I have to enforce safety protocols, that sort of thing. I have to tell them where they need to be. And I was like, look, I understand that we used to be buds. I understand that we used to be friends. But while we're at work, we need to cut that shit. And we need to go towards being more work-oriented. Like, we have to be work-oriented. Like, we can't just chill around like we used to. However, there's a time and a place for everything, and we can still hang out whenever we don't have to do that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a time and a place thing. And if you don't respect that, then I guess we were never friends in the first place. Or at least that's how I feel. If you can't respect my authority, then you can't really consider yourself my friend, because real friends would want to respect your authority and see you grow as a leader in a way, while people that say that they're your friend, but in reality they are generally resentful of your position, they're going to want to bring you down, or they're going to not respect you. So I feel like it has to be pointed out and said in a sort of way that makes sense for them. So that's my take on it.
That's a pretty big take on it, sir. Yeah, dude, I agree. Like, you got to be able to, turn the humor on, turn the humor off like a switch. Humor isn't really good in some occasions. Obviously, you wouldn't go cracking up jokes at the funeral of Uncle Pack and Pete over here. So you just go like, okay, serious mode.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a time and a place when it comes down to it.
There needs to be because like what the friendship y'all glued at work can continue to glue up off of work. It's not going to be the same, so you have to adapt, you have to change your ways with this person at work. Once you're off, you can be the same old pals y'all always were.
Yeah, and I mean, I just feel like a lot of people don't realize it, especially people who are resentful about it. And you may not agree with the decisions that were made by the company or organization that you're with, but that doesn't mean that you need to bring down the person that is in that position now. I mean, if they were really your friend, you should treat them with more respect. And you having a shitty attitude towards your supervisor only proves to everybody else that you were never meant for that position either. Because if you're not a good follower, you can never be a good leader. So
I wanna go to like a specific occasion. Say you tell them to do something, right? You have authority to do so, and then they joke about it. Like they're gonna do it, but they joke like, nah, I don't want to do it. There's a certain level of like, even if you tell them like, oh, I was just kidding, I am gonna do it, you leave them behind with a like a doubt, like, hey, when will he mean it, and stuff like that. So doing it very rarely, it's not bad. But, and obviously off of work, you can like joke about it full on, but yeah, when it comes to work, and you're in that situation, it's like, you set an authority, so you gotta respect it.
yeah, but also as a leader, I also like to make sure that I don't take my leadership position with me outside of work. That's the big thing that I learned, was you always leave the work at work. You don't take it home. You don't take it anywhere else. You just leave it at work.
Yeah, it's like you don't take drama to work. Oh, I want to talk about that later, but
yeah, you can save that for the next episode.
It's the same way both ways. It's like you don't take work situations off of work, so you got to be able to separate and divide things. Adapt to the moment in the day. I mean, that just shows your ability to be able to learn new things and adapt to it easily understand them and perform well in whatever it is.
And another thing I'd like to add is I feel like you can't forget where you came from, in a sense.
Stay humble.
Like you can't forget where you came from. If you were stacking boxes at one point with them, you can't forget the struggles that they went through. And I feel like you don't have to be apologetic for giving them a task that they don't want to do. However, I feel like it's easier if you're able to relate with them. Like I'll tell somebody.
I mean, part of your job, like part of your description and the position that you got promoted to is to take care of your employees. And, you know, if they do have a concern, you know, you gotta be able to work around it. That's the whole thing of a leader. You gotta get situations and then be able to solve them.
Yeah, like positions like the thing about those positions is the fact that they might not be able to see the work that you do. However, you also need to be able to show them that you're getting your work done and you're always on top of your game. So you need to do
set
things.
An example too.
Yeah, you need to lead by example. I mean, that's
because they're gonna become you. You know, if that's the thing that they like to do, they're gonna be the one next in line.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna get hired. They're gonna get hired too, and it's like it all works out. You know.
Yeah, and
if y'all are pals, it's like
I always like to train people for the next. I always like to train people for the next position, and a lot of people say that you need to work like the position you were trying to be in. If you want to work and you want to be a manager, you gotta
manage.
You gotta work like a manager. Like you gotta have initiative. You gotta be able to do things. And if you're a manager, a lot of managing is to figure out what needs to be done before it needs to be done. And you need to figure out what the issues are going to be, and you need to figure out what the sort of gray areas are before it actually happens, so you don't run into hiccups. Now you sort of have to plan ahead, and I drive a lot of people crazy because I plan ahead a lot. But that's just my mindset when I manage, is like I have to think about the things that I have to do to get there. Like, do I need to expedite these things? Do I have to expedite these things before I hand them off to my people? Do I need to make copies of this before I take it to my people? That sort of deal. I feel like there's a lot of back work when it comes to that they'll never be able to see, but there's also a lot of work for you to show them that you're doing. And just because you're managing doesn't mean if you're a manager, you should also strive to be a leader. There's a difference. A manager tells people what to do. A leader does it with them. A leader gets things done with them. Because the whole idea is to get your group of people and do it together. Or at least
it's
that's
just
what
the
I like
guy
to
that
think.
know. It's just the manager. Or a leader is just someone who knows the plan.
Yeah, somebody who knows the
he
plan
just
and how to execute it.
Has to translate it, to the other people.
I mean, the thing is, it's not important the thing that isn't important is how they get it done. What is important is if they get it done.
That they get it done.
Yeah. If they get it done, then why do you even care about how they get it done?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's my 2 cents.
Take that, math teachers. I got the answer. Don't matter how.
Yeah, I got the answer. I totally didn't go on like Mathway or something.
Who says I can't use photo math in real life?
Yeah, I totally didn't use Mathway and paid for the subscription to tell me how I did the work.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like, dude, I think lazy people are the best because they find out ways to like
get it done in the most efficient way possible.
Less energy, less. The best way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because then you can see what their way is, and then show everybody their way of getting it done.
Exactly.
Or you could put them on a pedestal and be like, "Hey, I saw that you got it done a lot faster. Would you be able to teach everybody how it got done?" Because then it could also poise them to become a leader as well. Because then higher management would be able to see, and you're able to tell the higher management, "Hey, he's actually teaching the other guys how to be more efficient. I think I think he would be great for this new position. I feel like he's really stepping up. I feel like we need to like weigh out his pros and cons here. I feel like he has good direction here. I feel like he's not like the other people who are just here for a check. I feel like he's actually wanting to get things done faster. And they could be the laziest person of them all. However, if they're getting it done faster and if they're getting it done easier, then I feel like everybody would be more efficient.
Efficiency is key.
Efficiency is one of the keys.
The key.
To success.
To succeed.
DJ Khaled.
Another one. No, seriously, another one. Pour another one. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we'll get one later.
Listen, we got 48 dude, is time going by slow or what?
I know, it's going by really slow. I wish we had like sound foam or something so none of the noise would come up through the loft and
There's
all that sort of stuff. There's currently like a movie going on and like
it's movie night out here.
Yeah, it's like a movie night's going on and then like so much other stuff is going on as well. Like I'm pretty sure we're running a bakery downstairs as well.
Where's our popcorn, man?
I mean, fuck, I might get popcorn between between episodes.
It's crazy.
Or at least that's my feeling. But it's whatever. I mean, sure, you might be saving money living at your parents' house, but you're also losing a lot of privacy. And it depends on whether or not you want to sacrifice your privacy for time.
Sacrifice one for the other.
Like, do you want to sacrifice your money for privacy, or do you want to sacrifice your privacy for your money?
Money. Turn into Mr. Krabs right there.
Money.
I could hear him walking over. I just put that in everybody's heads. Manipulation. I'm just kidding. You know, it's crazy. It's like I sometimes think like maybe, you know, like I'm trying to succeed to the point where like people think I'm in the Illuminati. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a level. It's like you get talked about the most. It's like they make fake stories of you and shit. It's like,
yeah,
famous.
I think one of those people, Andrew Tate, who everybody knows that he's like not in it, but the thing is, like, I feel like with Andrew Tate, he got very lucky because right now, they just proved that the women that accused him of sexual misconduct and all that sort of stuff and human trafficking, they found out that they were lying the whole time and they wanted to make their own like Netflix documentary.
Shocker.
Yeah, big shocker. But I feel like with leadership and with wealth and with success, there's always going to be haters. And the idea isn't necessarily to make everybody like you. It's to do your own thing and stay true to yourself and take the people that are willing to follow you. That's what I feel like. However, one thing is for certain. Why was Andrew Tate eating a pizza with pepperoni, which is a pork product, when he's a devout Muslim now?
Exposed.
I mean, isn't pepperoni haram unless it's like beef pepperoni?
I don't know. I just know the word haram.
Yeah, because they say it all the time.
Yeah, it's like that's haram.
Yeah, it's always funny how people always like twist the religion to where they like it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody takes religion at face value. You just take it to where it benefits them the most.
It's just one giant book reading club.
Yeah. So
the biggest book.
Yeah, it's like high school. It's like church musical, like High School Musical, but in a church. Yeah, or at least that's what it felt like whenever I attended church. I felt like it was like, especially the choir kids. They would always freaking sing for no reason. I'd be like, just shut up, shut up. Like, I don't want to listen to you singing about God for like the umpteenth time before I actually have to listen to you in the crowd. Like, there's a reason why there's a bunch of voices to drown out yours. Or at least that's what I feel like.
Yeah, dude. They be singing their heart outs every day.
I mean, good on you for being confident enough to sing, but that doesn't mean I want to hear it.
You ain't Rihanna. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. This is the way it is.
Yeah, damn. What's the lesson here today?
The life lesson.
Pack and Pete.
Life lesson.
I
I mean,
mean, no, don't bring that over here.
I mean, I feel like
What's the
I feel like you already said it. Just like don't judge a book by its cover.
pretty much? It's
Yeah,
like you gotta read the first few pages, see if you like it. You know, if you want to keep going.
Yeah, read the
And
prelude,
then-
read the first chapter.
Yeah, the.
I mean, it's
prelude-
different. It's different when it comes to like a movie. Because like with a movie, or not a movie, but like a TV series, because the first season's always god awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like the first season of The Office was terrible, but the rest of the season,
I
on
did-
the other hand,
I actually stopped watching The Office after a few episodes.
Oh, you
first
did?
Season.
yeah, it's because you watched the first season.
It's like,
It was like
I
in
should
the
probably
first-
skip.
In the first season, the idea was for everybody to hate Michael and love the employees.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, with the second season, they switched it up to where it was like, no, Michael's a real person. He's not just like your regular corporate boss where he's just an asshole all the time for no
Mhm.
reason. It's like he's an actual person and he has feelings, and we need to incorporate his feelings, but we also need to incorporate that like weirdness of Michael. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, he's a shitty corporate boss like usual. It was more of like he's a guy that just wants to have fun, but he just does it in the worst way possible.
I love Michael.
But I don't know. Did you really feel that way with like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul?
With
Like-
Breaking Bad, yes, because I actually watched a couple episodes and I was like, nah, I want to see this shit. Why do people keep watching this? And I kept seeing more of it. I was like, alright, fine, I'll give it another try. And I was like, yeah, first season. Second season was like, okay, now we're talking. Alright,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Gus now.
Yeah. And I feel like with Better Call Saul, we already knew it was gonna happen, and within like
so confused on Better Call Saul.
within like the first 2 episodes, like Tuco shows up. So it's like we're ready here. We're ready. We're already ready, but
We're doing this now.
Tuco's already here. Like, Walter,
Put your dick away, Walter.
here's how you make a pimento cheese
wanna see
sandwich.
it.
Yeah, 2 pieces.
I don't want to have sex with you, Walter.
Yeah, 2 slices of cheese.
Put your dick away, Walter.
You get the adequate amount of pimento cheese spread. You put it on the you put it on the slice of bread.
I tried to take a sip, man.
Put it on the slice of bread, and that's how you have a pimento cheese sandwich. But like I low-key had some beef with Lalo's taco episode, Lalo's taco, because he didn't even heat up the tortilla.
Lalo's in the show?
No. Like
Like the video?
remember like the little shorts
Yeah, the
shorts
little
that they
short
make
video.
for like the promotionals.
Yeah,
Yeah, like with Lalo, they didn't even heat up the tortilla.
that's true.
I was like, how does this even work?
It's the Salamanca way, bro. Didn't you hear the man?
Oh my god, that's a Salamanca way. Then
If that's the Salamanca way, I don't want it.
yeah, if that's a Salamanca way, then I understand why they started resorting to selling crack. So, I mean, I understand at that point, because the restaurant business was not gonna survive with
Crack
that.
was their side business.
No, the restaurant was their side business at that point. Because holy shit, if you don't heat up your tortillas, fuck no, I don't want it.
You know what I'm saying? In their eyes, the crack is on the side.
I mean, my
But in
biggest pet
reality,
peeve.
it's nice,
My biggest
but-
pet peeve is people that heat up the tortillas way too much, so they're just crispy, and you can't even fold the taco.
I just turned them into tostadas at that point.
Yeah,
I heat them up more, and then they get fully hard.
yeah, exactly.
I was like, it ain't wasted yet. You know, can use them for some flauta. What the fuck?
Not flautas.
What?
Like, you actually gotta like roll those
the
things.
Fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Fucking, I don't know what to call
Tostadas.
them. I guess that's what they call them.
Yeah, just tostadas, because you just put them on the bottom and then you just put whatever the fuck you want on top.
You just fucking.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest beef with tostadas is like ceviche. Because like I don't like tilapia is a very dirty fish, so I already don't like tilapia because it's very earthy and dirty. And then you're like not even gonna cook the tilapia and just soak it in limon, and it's just like, ugh, I don't want this. Like maybe if you just add like camarones or something. I mean, if it's just like camarones, then it's fine, but not with just tilapia. Because holy shit, tilapia is such a dirty fish. Like, they are literally bottom feeders. Like, so am I, because I eat ass. But I mean, I feel like it just tastes dirty. Like,
just like pussy for the first time. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, I remember the first time you were like, "Hey Peter, does pussy taste good?"
We put this on the internet. I bet.
You're like, "Does pussy taste good?" And like you had like that look of doubt, that straight look of doubt. You're like, "Does pussy taste good?"
That's where pee comes out of. You expect that to taste good? No.
Yeah,
why are people eating it then?
Yeah, but poop comes out of ass, but ass still tastes good.
It comes out of ass, but ass tastes good.
Yeah.
They gotta ferment it and marinate it for the ass eating.
I know, right? Fermented, moisturized, tenderized. Bone apple tea.
Oh my god.
But he was like, "Does pussy taste good?" And I was like, "It's an acquired taste." He was like, "Yeah."
I was like, she either didn't wash herself or some shit, because I didn't like it.
It could have been like the amount of mustard she was using in her for like her food, but
For
you know,
real. It depends what you eat.
yeah.
It's like,
This shit probably tastes like batteries.
That was the first time. Now I'm just like, you better eat some fucking pineapple before I eat that pussy, you know?
Yeah, it was. I'm like, that shit probably tastes like batteries. Not gonna lie. It was like, damn, this shit tastes like a 9-volt.
It's like, you've never put a battery in your mouth, but you know it tastes like a battery.
Like, oh my god.
There's probably some people that are out there like that have put a battery in their mouth and they've tasted pussy. They're like, no, it doesn't taste like that.
You know,
like, well, we already
I always
cemented
get
it that it tastes like batteries.
I always get tempted whenever I see somebody with a septum piercing.
You get tempted with what?
People with like a septum piercing, like, you know, that like that ring in their nose,
and
and I'm like, bzz, bzz. It's like, I would be a menace at Hot Topic.
you could do security there. You just
say, bzz.
it's like, hey, you're not allowed in here.
I swear to God, I'm gonna get arrested. Like, my intrusive thoughts are gonna win.
Come here. You say something. Give me Brita. I need water.
Oh yeah.
I'm thirsty.
Más agua, por favor.
I need a pee and I need
Por
a drink.
favor.
I'm gonna make sure I'm ready for the other one. Gotta sober up a bit for the other one.
Wait, you're not sobered up?
I'm pretty sobered up.
I mean,
I'm crossfaded right now, bro.
oh shit. I'm just tipsy. I mean, I was low key drinking throughout the day because I had a lot of shit to do. Like, I had to go
oh my god.
I had to go get skincare products and a new fragrance.
You wanna know the first cocktail I made?
What was it?
It was a whiskey sour.
Oh, you made a whiskey sour?
I did.
Did you make it with egg whites?
I did not.
Ooh, the one with egg whites is just so much smoother. But you like, you gotta be like cool with salmonella before you even get to it. And like pasteurizing an egg just takes too much time. Like I got a sous vide machine.
I didn't have time for that.
Yeah, but like if you add a raw egg, not like a complete raw egg, just like the egg white. Don't add the whole egg because otherwise it just tastes like shit.
Right.
But if you just add the egg white, and like you shake it enough, it'll actually add like a nice little foam on the top.
Oh, that's how they get the foam, huh?
Yeah, they use a raw egg white.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, restaurants...
I tried it at Olive Garden, and I was like, oh, why is there foam on it? I didn't have that when I made it.
Yeah.
I thought that, I was like...
They use raw egg whites. But the thing is, it's like what they do is they pasteurize the eggs first. I believe you have to like...
You'd be like, your sins are forgiven. No, I'm just kidding.
You have to like... get it to like
Pasteurize it.
160 and keep it at 160 for a little bit so it doesn't like cook it. But it also kills the bacteria. Excuse me. It, like,
You good?
Yeah, but it like kills the bacteria. So it's like all chill and it like tastes pretty good. But restaurants are required to like make sure that it's food safe. However, you don't have to. So I like took a dive. I took a dive when I made my first whiskey sour. Tasted great though.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I think
it's not that different from the one I got in the restaurant. I mean, I think the difference was the white egg. But yeah, that was my first cocktail, bruh.
It was your first cocktail? Was a whiskey sour?
Yeah. It was nice.
I don't know.
Mine,
I think mine was like a Moscow Mule. Probably.
Dude,
Either that or it was a mojito. It was a mojito.
That's next on
I had a
my list,
mojito.
bro.
You have to get mint though.
Mint.
Yeah, you have to get fresh mint in order to actually like do it right, because otherwise it just doesn't taste good if you just get the dry stuff. The dry stuff does not work. It does not taste good with the dry stuff.
Little tip.
What I actually do is I make the simple syrup and I infuse it with ginger. So it really complements the ginger ale flavor, because I don't like mixing club soda with my mojitos. I like using ginger ale. And with Moscow Mules it's completely different because it's like ginger beer.
Yeah.
And ginger beer is just stronger. So
that's next on my list for sure though. A Moscow Mule, I tried that one.
Yeah, like you can
at a bar, and I was like, this is what I was looking for. I like sour things. I'm a sour head.
Oh well, since you like whiskey so much, you can actually
I love whiskey. And I was like,
you can make
whiskey
Irish
sour.
mules. You can make Irish mules, which are it's like a Moscow Mule, but you substitute it with Irish whiskey, which like the bottle of Jameson we had, which I just had to throw out today.
I had to get bourbon whiskey for that one. It's like this Jim Beam's. Oh my god,
Jim Beam is all right.
I love it.
I'm pretty sure there's like another brand that's really good that I can put you on, because like there's a few good suggestions out there.
Wait, hold on, I gotta know this. Jim Beam or Jack Daniels?
Ooh. Now
I think you already know my answer, but
here's the deal.
Damn.
Here's the deal between Jack and Jim Beam. What really separates them is their specialty whiskeys. Like, I think, is it Jack Daniel honey or is it Jim Beam honey?
Dude, Jack Daniel.
Yeah, Jack Daniel's honey. That one's actually pretty good. Like, I don't have a favorite when it comes down to it. If I want like a true bourbon, then I'll get a better brand. But if I want like the specialties, or if I want just like something as a mixer, then I'll go with either or. But
okay, so you put them in the same, or on the same area.
Yeah, because I mean they're not made by the same people. However, the flavors are different, but they're not too different in a way where you care if you put them in a cocktail. Like, you're not really going to taste that much of a difference if you put them in a cocktail. Now, there are going to be connoisseurs out there that are like, oh, well, I can taste the dirt in the smoke and the whatever.
In the ingrown hair. I don't know.
Yeah, you can taste the ingrown hair on this one. But I feel like it's overplayed a lot. And I mean, a Jack and Coke, I think, in my opinion, tastes better than a Jim Beam and Coke. But a Jim Beam would taste better in like I would say I would say an old fashioned. But overall, if you wanted a quality old fashioned or a quality like bourbon drink, then you would get a better brand. That's just the way that I do things. It's just like, just get a better brand if you're gonna drink a bourbon. Because what's the demographic of people that get Jack Daniels and Jim Beam? College kids that want to get fucked up. That's always how it is. It's always college kids that want to get fucked up. So they don't care if it tastes good or not. They're just gonna give you what gets you fucked up.
Pretty much.
So.
We're at an hour and 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't see. There's
So-
a big ass ring light on my eye.
So in conclusion of everything, don't date an OnlyFans a person that has an OnlyFans. Treat your workers.
If you want privacy.
Treat your subordinates like they're people, and learn how to connect with them in a certain way.
Learn to separate.
Yeah, learn to
certain
separate,
things.
but also
Like
tell them that you're
divide
equal.
your way of it's like actions. Divide your actions.
Like, there's a time and a place when it comes to your subordinates and you, if you're in a supervisory position,
Or any higher authority position.
I mean, if they don't respect you, then they were never your friend. And then on top of that, what's better, Jim Beam or Jack Daniels? I don't care. And neither should you. Because if you're just trying to drink to get drunk, it doesn't matter. But if you're trying
Fuck off.
But if you're just trying to drink a good bourbon, get something else.
Bitch.
So thank
No.
you. Thank you
No.
for attending.
Ah,
I did it myself.
He had it off.
Thank you for oh my god.
No, you can't do
Thank
it
you
to
for
me.
attending this episode of the Congression. I'm really glad you came and listened to us run our suck for an hour and 10 minutes.
Those words
come
and suck.
Thank you for all of this. And I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing to allow us to have a platform to talk about
Fuck
things.
you. Why are you still here? Get out.
We'll see you in the next
Stop.
episode.
Get out.
Goodbye.
Fuck you.